All right, guys, we asked you for some questions, and today we're going to give you some answers. Let's get started.
Hold on when you need a friend, I'll never let you go again. Reach out when your mind's uneasy, 'cause I'll understand.
We can't swing, I gotta answer some questions. All right, well, we've got a ton of questions from you guys, and so we're gonna answer them as quickly as we can. So we're gonna read the questions, we're gonna read who they're from, and we're gonna give you some answers. Some things will be in-depth, some things not as in-depth. So let's get started. All right, Donald DeCiccio says, what got you interested in and ultimately becoming homesteaders? All right, homesteading was something we didn't know we wanted to get into. When we sold our place in the city, we moved out to the country. We actually moved in with Becky's parents initially, and then we found this place, and we'll get more to that because there's a lot of questions about where we do live. We started to get some chickens. We started to learn about what we were putting into our body, and that's really what started the momentum of getting into homesteading. All right, Royal Terror says, what honestly got you started on farming animals-wise, and what makes you enjoy having them so much?
So I grew up on a farm, and we had chickens and cows and stuff. So when we got our house in Kansas City, I really wanted to get back to doing that. So when we moved here, we definitely wanted some chickens.
Home Place Journal asks, what is our ultimate goal on the homestead? Ultimate goal would just be where we're in control of our day, where we get to spend time with our family, where we get to grow the food that we want to grow. We know what we're putting in our body. So just having the dream life to us, which is doing everything we're doing and then just being able to have control of our time and money. Ron Hooks asks, is this your family's farm or did you buy the land and then decide to live off of the land?
No, this is a rental we found. And we know the family, but they farm and have cows all around us, and we're just renting for a short time. Hopefully we'll find our own spot someday and we'll have our own place.
All right, GSK 1519 Mo asks, what is your timeline to own your own property so you can expand further if you want? Timeline to get our own place, we're not actively looking, but we do have our eyes open for different things that open up. Cost is a big issue for us. So right now we're just working to save money, and that'll be something that we'll be looking to do in the next couple years. So I think realistically, a couple years is what we're looking at to get our own place. Tara Santiago asks, as renters, what is your short-term, long-term goal to getting our own piece of land? So short-term, it's gonna be a couple years. Long-term, it's going to be a couple years. How many hours of the week do you each spend working off your property at other jobs?
Probably about five hours a week.
All right, and it varies for me from week to week. This week specifically, I'm going to be working about 50 hours off of the homestead. Next week, I'll be 100% at home. So she also asked, at their current ages, what do the boys want to be when they grow up? First of all, everybody keeps asking how old you guys are. So how old are you, Eli?
5.
Okay, what do you want to be when you grow up? Do you want to be a firefighter, a policeman? Do you want to build things with Legos? Do you want to, what do you want to do? Do you want to play video games? Do you want to...
Video games.
Do you want to build stuff?
Video games.
You want to play video games professionally? How old are you, Uriah?
3.
Okay, Uriah's 3. What do you want to be when you grow up? What job do you want to do? What's Uriah good at?
Being wild and crazy.
Yeah, if he can get paid being wild and crazy, then he'll do that. Here's an easy one for you, Becky. Beth Bossman asks, what state do y'all live in?
Missouri.
That's right. Rita Sparger asks, how many animals do you have and how long have you lived on the farm? Animals, we'll get into that in just a little bit, so hang tight on that one. How long have we lived here? We've lived here almost 3 years, so a couple months away. We'll have been here 3 years. We got chickens 2 years ago. We started gardening last year, so everything we've just slowly gotten into. Okay, Brinks X Wolf asks, how long have you wanted to homestead?
Well, we didn't even know we wanted to do this until we started watching more videos, learning about what we eat, what's in the grocery store, and that's when we just started deciding that this is what we wanted to do.
Rathery asks, how much did it cost to get your homestead started? Would you recommend that someone with a tight budget could do this?
Yeah, it didn't cost us a whole lot. Of course, we didn't buy our land. A lot of people think that you have to start out by buying a lot of land and having a ton of animals. You just start from what you've got. We rent, so it's pretty minimal, and we started with chickens, which doesn't cost a whole lot, and you just kind of goes from there what your budget can handle.
That's right. Yeah, don't overextend yourself. Julie Baker asks a couple questions. What other types of animals do you raise? We raise chickens, ducks, turkeys, hopefully soon peacocks, rabbits, cats, and we have some fish.
And a snake.
And a little snake. How self-sufficient is your homestead where food for yourself and your animals and energy is concerned? Self-sufficient? How much food do we bring for ourselves?
Not very much.
Not very much. Really just we bring in some food every day, but it's really not more than tomatoes and
beans, cucumbers, just like a little bit of an extra to top off the grocery bill, but it's definitely not even close to what we would like to be.
Yeah, because we rent, we have raised beds and a lot of vertical gardening, and so we don't raise much food. It's just we're doing as much as we can with where we are. Do we plan to homeschool our kids?
That was our goal, but with Eli, we just decided to go to public school with him.
So we started public school with Eli 3 weeks ago. We're gonna at least try that this first year, and then we'll reassess after this first year. But we love the idea of homeschooling. It just wasn't the right time for us to do that with him yet. How many acres do you have, and how much is wooded?
I don't even know if we have quite an acre, do we?
So our yard is all of this right here. I'll show you. I've got like a drone shot overlooking our property. Our immediate yard is maybe an acre, and then we've just used a little bit of area outside of this fence, and so none of it is ours. It's all rental, and so we're just extended out maybe 2 acres, and none of it is wooded. So it's all house and then just a yard and then a little bit of pasture. Aman Gowalker asks, is farming poultry your full-time job? It is not. It is definitely a part-time job. And then that moves us into the next question from Abbas Gazgi that asks, what do you do for a living other than YouTube?
I clean some houses and offices.
And I can't really say exactly what I do, but it's really operating software. And then outside of that, it's just some part-time jobs where I do some graphic design and different things related to the video stuff along with YouTube. All right, now we're gonna talk about chickens. Charlotte Harlow asks, I'm new here, so I'd love to know how you got into keeping animals. Answered that a little bit with the first question, which is we started with 6 chickens and then just snowballed from there. Yara Frere asks, I'm not sure if you've answered this in a video before, but why did you choose chickens? Have you thought about other animals and would you have that you would have on your homestead other than turkeys, chickens, and ducks? You wanted them initially. Why did you want chickens?
I just wanted fresh eggs. I thought it would be a low maintenance animal to start with. So, and then we eventually would like to venture out and get some other animals.
All right, Deep South Bama with Mr. Tom asks, my question is, if you could only have one chicken breed to lay eggs, what would it be?
Probably Americana. That's our favorite chicken.
Yep, so Americana is our favorite chicken breed. They don't lay as often as some of the brown egg layers, the Australorps, the Barred Rocks, the Rhode Island Reds, but it's definitely our favorite. The Americana. Boyd Mullinax asks, what kind of ducks do you have and how many chickens do we have in all? We used to have 85 chickens maybe a month ago. We're probably down about 15 since then, so I think we have about 70 chickens right now. And as far as duck breeds, we have Muscovies is what we have the most of. We have a black Cayuga and a silver Swedish, so we have 14 ducks in all. Okay, Slade X asks, what are our expenses to feed all of our animals? And of course, we just went to Valley Feed the other day in a video, and we talked about the feed that we have. But as far as the cost, the bags vary between $10 and $12 per bag of feed. Our chickens will consume about 2 of those a week. Turkeys, probably about 2 bags a week. And then we have our bantam flock, and they're much less. I'm not sure if they do a full bag a week. So that's somewhere under $50 a week. As far as selling our eggs, we'll get into that. There are some questions about that, but it does help out quite a bit. How many different breeds of birds, animals have you successfully housed together? And with diseases, sickness, what do you do when the birds become ill? Do you call off weak birds? This chicken coop right here, it's a fairly big shed outbuilding, and we've had right around 120 birds in it. I think we still have plenty of room. It does get a little tight, but there's so much vertical space in there that we can get quite a few in there. Max space we could get in there, maybe 150.
As far as diseases and sicknesses, we separate the chicken out of the flock and keep him separate until he's well, or we have to call him. So within our 3rd year of having chickens, we haven't had a whole lot of issues with diseases and sicknesses.
All right, here's a good one from Dimitrov BG. What do you think about raising chickens and turkeys with waterfowl? Is it okay? Is it bad? Is it good? I personally used to raise them together, but was tired of changing out the dirty water. So you can see right here, all of our ducks are hanging out here by themselves, separate of the chickens right now. And they're always outside, where our chickens will go in during the day when they get hot. And this pool we typically have to fill once a day. It's not ideal, but whether they were in here with them or not, we would still have to fill that water.
I think if I had the choice and we had the space, I would definitely keep the ducks separate from the chickens, just so you don't have to change out the chicken waters, because I feel bad that they don't get clean water, and they love the clean water versus the ducks do.
All right, Omas Kids asks, what is the hardest thing you've discovered about raising poultry? It's fairly easy on a regular day in, day out basis. The winter months get pretty difficult because we don't get as many eggs and we're giving them a lot of feed, so it doesn't feel like they're really carrying their weight.
I think we lose them more during the winter too. Yeah,
it's really frustrating in the winter because we do see some loss just with birds that will get frostbite or get diseases just from the cold weather. Oh, Omas Kids also asked, are our cats fixed?
The females are. We're working on the males.
So we currently have 5 cats and 2 females. They are fixed. The 3 males, they are not. JEYM asks, what are your basic steps we need to know and understand if we want to start a bird farm colony like us? We made a lot of mistakes initially. Like we built this chicken run right next to the chicken coop initially, and then we learned about free ranging within inside an electric fence, and that gave us so much more room and kept them from killing all the grass. So I guess the thing to do would be see what some other people are doing, but also learning from your own experiences, because you're definitely going to learn what works for you in your space and what doesn't work for you in your space. Deidre Strong asks, what do you do with an aggressive rooster? We definitely have had rooster issues from time to time. We typically like to keep just 1 or 2 roosters at a time in with our flock. It helps keep order. It allows us to have breeding if we want it to happen. We actually had our first rooster, which was an Americana rooster that we really loved, but he attacked Uriah, our was then 2-year-old, and was pecking him on the face, and at that point he was done. We didn't want him around our kids any longer. All right, Becky. Little White Dory asks, what do we do with all the poo? How do you get rid of the excess manure?
It's really nice when they're in these mobile coops, because then we can just move it to fresh grass and it helps fertilize the area. And the chicken coop is the only place where it's a big hassle. We have wood chips down and we will clean that out several times a year and put it in our compost pile.
Yep, right there. All right, Lila Shearer asks, do you try to hide butchering and explaining what happened to your meat chickens from your boys, and what do they think about it? No, we don't hide it from them. Actually, Eli even helped us last year. We have a video about him helping us with butchering. We want them to know where their food comes from. So even at a very young age, Uriah is really curious about it, and he's been there and understands the process. Rhonda Gisclair asks, what do we do with all the eggs that we collect?
We sell some eggs and we eat them ourselves.
All right, Chelsea Parsons asked, do you sell your eggs, of how much you sell them for? What's your selling strategy to customers? As far as how much we sell them for $3 an egg. We did talk about the breakdown on costs in the what it's like to live with 85 chickens. And marketing strategy, we don't have a huge strategy because we don't have a ton of extra eggs right now to sell. We usually get about 2 dozen a day. We sell to friends, family. We'll go through a few people. We'll get us in contact with some other people. So in the past, we've had trouble selling them, and when we had that, we just tried to find mass marketing ways to sell them to a little bit larger groups when possible. And Sta asked, do you have any expensive breeds of poultry? Kind of. The French Black Copper Morans, the Lavender Orpingtons, the Lachenvelder. That's really about it. We don't have any of the all black ones, the Iams Chimanis, the all black breeds. Those are pretty rare. The Bress chicken is one that we'd really love to have. That's a good dual purpose breed. They're kind of hard to find. As far as exotic chicken breeds, we do actually have a top 10 video about that topic. Becky Taylor Morris asks, what advice would you give to someone who wants to get into raising chickens?
Just do it. Nothing really too scary about them. Housing and food is the only expense that they really have. They're easy to have and they're fun.
All right, the Furry Girl Show. You'll like this one, Becky. Is it a good idea to let your chickens into your house?
No, that's gross. We've had chicks in the house. They get really stinky fast. You'll want them outside the house as soon as possible.
All right, as far as our rabbits, we've got our 2 Lionhead rabbits right here. We did get a couple questions about them. Lie Self-Wench 2 asked, are you getting meat rabbits? That's definitely something we're interested in. We really had fun with Living Traditions, getting to see their meat rabbits, and they tasted great. So definitely something we're interested in, possibly next year. All right, Snuggle Monster asks, I was wondering what you're gonna do with the Lionheads over winter. Have them in the house? We're gonna have them in the barn right over there. That's where the broody hen is sitting on top of some of the peacock eggs right now. We've got a couple chicken brooders in there that could possibly work that have separate spots for rabbits. It wouldn't be ideal for cleaning them out, and so we're thinking about building something vertically, like 2 cages right above each other that have shelves that we could pull out and easily clean out the bottom of. All right, Ireland asks, what animals do you plan on getting in the future?
I think we're planning on getting maybe some goats and sheep and cows.
Yeah, I think we're gonna try just about everything we can think of. We definitely want a milk cow. I'd love to try pigs. I think you would be all right with that. Goats are a definite possibility. And what about a horse?
Yeah, I could have a horse. It's not in the near future, I'm sure, but eventually, yeah.
Yeah, we can't do any of that on this property, but definitely something we're interested in is having quite a few farm animals. All right, Luke Stallworth asked a great question. I'm about to start homesteading myself, was wondering what are the best 5 animals to start with? Just different things that you would want. You know, are you raising them for pets? Are you raising them for meat? And so if you're raising animals for meat, then you're probably thinking like pigs, beef, or do you need turkey? Start small, just like we said with starting homesteading, start small and go bigger. Don't start with too many. So I definitely would find the animals, the meat, the things that you want, that you can handle, that you know either you can process or you know where to take them to process. Start from seed. Homestead asks, is there any reason we don't have a dog? Do we want a dog?
Do you like dogs?
I'm not crazy about dogs. I've had one when I was really little, but I don't really see a huge need for them. Of course, having something livestock guardian would be huge when we have a bigger area and a bigger pasture to protect.
I would like to have one. The boys would love to have a dog, but I think just right now we have cats. We have a lot of animals right now, and I think that's all we really need until we get some more space.
All right, now we're talking about the garden. SJLD Films asks, do you have a greenhouse or do you have plans to set it up in the future?
We don't have a greenhouse. We've planned on making a greenhouse out of this chicken tractor, having some plastic on it, some clear plastic, and then having shelves and stuff put in there. But it seems like we always have chickens end up in there. So this year I would love to.
50 Shades of Green asks, what's your favorite thing to grow in your garden and why?
I think my favorite thing to grow is probably the tomatoes. I just love having fresh tomatoes. That's the one thing you can never get at a grocery store is fresh tomatoes.
Who is our oldest animal? We have 2 chickens.
We have Dove and Leona.
Dove and Leona are 2 of our bantam chickens that we got in our first 12 chickens. The rest were all roosters. Here's Dove, our Japanese white black-tailed bantam, and then Leona is our buff cochin that's right there. And so they are both almost 3 years old. All right, Farm Alarm asks, are we a family that says I love you to each other?
I love you.
Yeah, I love you. To her. Mrs. Farm Alarm asks, what's our favorite season?
Fall. I love fall.
Fall has always been my favorite, but I'm a little bummed about it now because I love raising animals and growing food. It just kind of means the end of all of that. So
yeah, but sometimes you just need the break. After summer, you're just like,
I don't know. I'm so excited for spring these days that spring is quickly becoming my favorite season, but fall is pretty awesome. Terry Jean asks, how did we meet? We met at Missouri Western. It was at Campus Crusade. It was in 2002, I think September 2002. We were friends for about 6 months and then we started dating. We dated for about 3 years before we got engaged and then married. And we've now been married for 12 years. Dark Age Growing asks, I have a small gardening and chicken YouTube channel. I want to know how you grew your channel when you were just starting out. It did not grow fast. Please don't see our channel and think, oh, they must have always grown fast. It took us about 30 videos before we got more than 10 subscribers. I'll say this for growing your YouTube channel, do a lot of collaborations, be consistent. We did a video on how to get to 1,000 subscribers, and that has been the foundation of everything that we do with our channel. So be sure to watch that video. And there's also one that we interviewed Justin Rhodes about YouTube, and that was really good too. So if you want to grow your channel, watch those videos. Leatherwood Land asked one about YouTubing also. What is the most important tip you have picked up from another YouTuber? When I did the interview with Justin Rhodes last year, he said, 1, you've got to get better, and your channel needs to be about something. Like if you're going to be a family vlog, you can't just be a family and just think you're going to just be fun and entertaining. You've got to have a purpose. And that's why I think this homesteading genre is so interesting, because we all have a purpose. And so it's just being able to get that through, convey that through to your audience. All right, and we're going to finish it up with this question from Doggy Bites. My question is is all that you guys do, is it worth it? And does it fulfill everything that you ever wanted? As far as where we're at, if you would have seen where we lived at before, it was It was a good house, but it was in the city. We were working around the clock to provide for our kids, to pay our debts. What we're doing right now is so much fun. It's really what we've ever wanted to do. The only thing that we're not living our dream with is that we don't have our own property, our own house, where we can have all the animals that we want, where we can do whatever we want with our property. And that's the only thing that is keeping us from living our dream life. We thank you guys for watching. We thank you guys for asking so many good questions. Sorry if we didn't get to yours. We'll be sure to do another one sometime. If you have answers to the questions that we talked about, please leave them down in the comments. We'd love to hear about your dreams, your goals, what you're doing. We want to get to know you better. So we really appreciate you guys being here, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
Bye.
Welcome to CRAzY. It's gonna